Yo, what's happening, folks? Kevin here. Today we're talking multi-tools. I use a multi-tool every single day at my day job. I am a welder. I'm using it constantly to trim welding wire, to clean out the nozzle in my my MIG gun, using the pliers to pick up hot pieces of metal, use the knife on it, screwdriver. I use it every single day, literally. So I have a couple examples here. First, we have the Gerber Suspension. We have the Leatherman Rebar and the Leatherman Rev. First, let's talk about the Gerber. This is the Gerber Suspension. They go for $43. I suspect it's called the suspension because it has a spring action. Let's go through the tools real quick. Spring-loaded needle nose pliers, regular pliers, wire cutter, tool locks, which I'll explain in a minute. We have a plain edge blade, large flathead, cross driver, saw, can opener, small flathead, scissors, lanyard hole, serrated blade, and did I already say bottle opener and bottle opener? Let me put these tools back here. Now this this multi-tool has a few redeeming qualities. Now I usually don't prefer Gerber multi-tools, but there are a couple things on this multi-tool that I really enjoyed, and I carried this particular one for many years, probably 5. I carried it until, as you can see, I broke one of the tips off of the needle nose there. The main thing I like about it is the spring assisted action. It makes life a lot easier, as opposed to these Leathermans where you have to kind of, do this deal when you want to open and close it. It just makes things easy. Secondly, they are very comfortable. I don't really feel any hot spots, nothing sharp digging into my hands as I grip this thing. It's the most comfortable out of all 3 of these, definitely. And thirdly, I enjoy their locking mechanism they have for all of their tools. Every single tool on here can lock in place. Watch that little bar as I bring out the bottle opener. It moves up, and that thing is very secure. To get it back in, there's a little bar on both sides. You're going to pull down on both of them, and you're able to close the tool. I am not aware, well, never mind, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say, I'm not aware that Gerber has this on all of their multi-tools, this kind of locking system. I'm just not sure. Another thing I like about this one is that you have access to the plain blade from the outside and also the serrated blade from the outside. You can see that on either side there are small little thumb studs here where you can bring out the blades. And again, they lock in place, and you get them down by pulling in on both these bars on either side. They fold in. Now let's talk about the downsides of the Gerber suspension. It is big. It is fat on this end. It's just a big tool. And it does have a lot of tools. But it's still big. Another thing I just noticed is you see the empty space between these tools. You're gonna notice as we look at these Leatherman that space is much tighter, which you know, makes the whole tool a lot smaller. Other negatives are, I did break the tip. If I recall correctly, I wasn't doing anything crazy abusive to it when it happened. It just kind of broke off. So it's probably not made of the best steel, or you know, heat treated or tempered in the best way, because it is Gerber. You know, they're on the cheaper side of things. Nothing wrong with that, but that's, you know, you just get what you pay for. All in all, I got a lot of really good use out of this multi-tool. It served me well until I decided to upgrade to the Leatherman Rev. Let's talk about the Leatherman Rev. Let me pull up the specs. Leatherman Rev. You're able to get one of these for about 50 bucks. Another cool thing about, if you don't know about the Leatherman website, is you can add engravings to everything you buy there. I haven't done it yet, but I think the next Leatherman I buy, I'm going to try that out and see how I like it. So, we got needle nose pliers, we have regular pliers, we have wire cutters. We have a knife, which is on the outside. I'll show you that in a minute. We have a package opener, which works extremely well. We have a wood and metal file. One side's for wood. Well, actually, no. There's only one side. But there's a ruler on the other side. Then you have a can opener and flathead and regular screwdrivers. I already said the price, 50 bucks. So this is kind of a minimalistic Leatherman. It has far less tools, and it is a lot smaller. If you look at the difference here, very much smaller in every way, and it has a pocket clip. So you can carry this thing kind of like a knife, kind of like you would a knife, but you just have all the other tools with it. Here's the blade on the knife. It's the only tool that you access from the outside. I do like the blade shape on this. It's got a hollow grind. I guess you'd call that a sheep's foot blade. I don't know. I like it. I think it looks good. It's got a liner lock, so you're gonna push that aside and you close the blade. You can do it one-handed, but I don't know. I feel kind of sketchy doing it. I feel like I'm gonna cut myself. So I usually just grab it and open it like that. So it's got a nice blade. It is not spring assisted, so you're gonna have to do this kind of thing. Not the most comfortable thing in the world, I will tell you. And I always go back and forth between holding it this way and this way. I can't decide which is more comfortable. They're both not very comfortable. It's kind of weird how you have one side of it that's straight and thicker and one that's kind of slightly curved and smaller. So that's why I can't really decide if I like that thicker one in my palm or if I like that curved one in my palm. Well, yeah, I think if I were to choose, I'd have to pick the thicker side in my palm and then the curved one on my fingers. That's probably what it was designed for, but still, it's not very comfortable. Good thing about it, though, is it's got a very robust tip. Let's look at it compared to the Gerber. Is it focusing? Yeah. Yeah, you're not breaking this tip off unless you're extremely, extremely abusive to it. What else? What else? Let's look at the tools a little more closely. Bottle opener, fine. File, it'll file, but not great. Little ruler in inches and centimeters. I honestly can't imagine a scenario where I would use that, but it's there if you need it. Let me get it out here. the package opener. Now, to me, this is one of the best qualities of this knife, besides the knife and just the robustness of the needle nose. This thing works amazingly. If you have any kind of plastic packaging, this thing slices right through it easily. And it's got a little hook shape so you can get it under the plastic and just pull. It opens it like a zipper. It works very well. Let's look on the other side at the screwdrivers. The Phillips, they're both not very good. They're both not very good. I don't like this very thin kind of, I don't know, it's just a crappy Phillips. It's thin, you're gonna strip out your screws. It's just, in a pinch it'll work, but it's definitely not the best. Now, all these tools do not lock open. They kind of work like a slip joint would. So there is a spring that kind of locks it, but you're able to, with enough force, push it back down. So, in conclusion, I would say this is a good light carry. You're going somewhere and you think you might need some pliers, and, I'm sure you're probably carrying a knife already. But if you're not, you have a good option here. I do like the blade on this knife, on this multi-tool. All right, let's move on to my new favorite that I carry every single day, the Leatherman Rebar. You can get this one for about 80 bucks. Let's look at the tools. Needle nose, regular pliers, replaceable wire cutters. Big plus there. I believe the wire cutter material is made out of 154 cm steel. They're still very sharp. I hadn't had to replace them yet. Let's see. It says it's got a crimper too, which, yeah, I guess at the bottom there, below the wire cutters, there's a little flat spot where you can do some crimping if you'd like. That's cool. I actually didn't notice that ever. That's good to know. It's got a nice knife. It's got a nice serrated knife. This thing is sharp as hell. It's got good saw. It's got an awl with a little thread, place to put your thread in. I've never used that, but I usually use it to scrape something or dig something out or what have you. What else here? It's got the bottle opener. It's got the 2 different size flatheads, a small one and a larger one. It's actually got a very good file. It's got one side for wood, one side for metal, and this thing cuts. It cuts well. It is a very good file. What else here? It's got a little lanyard loop. If you want it, you can stick that out and, have a lanyard go through it in the closed position. And my favorite part about this tool, we have a 3D Phillips screwdriver. Look at that. This is the first time I've seen one like that on a multi-tool. It's a full 3D screwdriver, Phillips. It's amazing. Let me close these other tools so we can get a closer look at it. Where am I? There we go. Yeah, this thing is sweet. It's just a regular screwdriver that is small and is on a multi-tool. I love it. Let's close these other tools. Now, these tools all lock open. It has kind of interesting locking mechanism that I haven't seen on the multi-tool before. But if you look closely, you can see this notch here and this piece that forces the it into that notch as it closes. See that? So it's totally locked up, and to close it, you're gonna pull down here. It releases that little thing out of the notch, and you can close your tool. It took me a little while to get used to it, but now that I'm used to using that locking mechanism, it honestly works just fine. Again, push it, fold your tool down, just fine. I love the size of this thing as well. It's the perfect size, I think. It's very similar to the Rev, actually, but just better in every single way. It doesn't have a pocket clip, but, you know, I carry it in a pouch anyways. It's got that lovely 3D Phillips screwdriver. Another thing is it's really comfortable. Not quite as comfortable as the Gerber Suspension, but it is very comfortable. Everything is kind of, you know, contoured, no sharp edges anywhere. I can really grip this thing and not feel like my hand's going to be hurting. I like the access to the knives. You can't open them from the outside, but they're easy to get to. You want the serrated one, it's there. If you want the, or no, sorry, plain edge there. If you want the serrated, you flip it over and there's the serrated. Man, I love this Leatherman. I'm not aware of another Leatherman that has that type of 3D Phillips screwdriver. Maybe there is, but for this price point, I'm almost positive there isn't. Again, this one's 80 bucks. Totally worth the money in my opinion. Let's look at them all together again. There's the three multi-tool bros. All good tools, but in my opinion, Leatherman Rebar is where it's at. It's also got a ruler on the outside. If you open it like this, you can use the ruler to, I don't know, measure something. I can't see myself ever using it, like I said, but at least it's bigger than the tiny little one in the Leatherman Rev. At least I think this thing goes up to 8 inches, 20 centimeters. So a little more useful than this one. All right, that's about it. In conclusion, Leatherman Rebar is where it's at. Leatherman Rev, Gerber Suspension, they'll do the job. All right, thanks for watching.